Level 130. We can fill in these columns as indicated. And we can fill in this row with empty space. Now, let's look at the sums. So the sum here is 32, here it's 34. That means we need 2 more walls in the columns. That means there are 2 walls in the question mark columns. Now what that tells me is that one of the question mark columns has 0 walls, at least one, which means one of these bombs is going to hit 4 targets. Now, that means the bombs in these columns in that situation have to be blocked off. And let's see. Let's look at this bomb. Can it hit 4 bunnies? No, it can't, because there are only 2 walls in this column, which is not enough to block all these bombs from hitting the bunnies. And what about here? We have 4 walls here, potentially, but only 3 walls here. So that means that these columns have walls and this one does not. Which means it hits all 4 bunnies and it has to be blocked off. Like so. Now, what more? Well, the bombs can't be blocked in, so we need empty spaces here. And the bombs can't hit other bombs. And of course, bunnies can only be hit by 1 bomb, so we need walls here. And so we need empty spaces here. And this column is gray. This row is gray. This row has 1 more wall. So does this and this. Now we need walls here and here. So these bombs are not going to hit anything. And let's see here. This can't be a wall because this needs to connect here. And also this can't be a wall for the same reason. So there are 2 more walls in this row. And also the question mark rows can have no more walls. This column must have 3 walls. Let's see, this bomb needs a path to this crystal. And let's see, there's 1 wall in this row. So that means it needs a path here. There are 2 walls left in this row, which have to be here and here. So now this is gray. So is this. And we have 3 more walls to place. Here, here, and here. Level 131. Now, there are bunnies in the corners, which can only be hit by X or Y. What if X hits both? Well, if X hits them, then both Z and Y are 0, and that can't be. So we know that Y is not 0. And look at these columns. 4 walls. And we can't have a wall here, because that would isolate the X. And that means X is going to hit these bunnies. We need a wall here. And it's the same in the top row. That means Z has to be 0. Okay. And also, we have filled in the question mark rows. 2 walls total. That means the sum is now 22. So 22 minus 8 is 14. That means the total number of walls in the question mark columns is going to be 14. And let's see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns with bunnies in them. So the Z's need to be blocked from both. And there are 1 and 2 walls already here. That means the remaining 12 walls, we need to have 2 in each column. And that's exactly enough. And that tells me there can be no more walls in these columns, because all our walls need to be spent blocking the Z's from the bunnies. So we can start here with the most obvious ones. And now this is gray, and so is this. And the next one is here. This needs to be blocked. So does this. And now we see we have some zones here. This is connected here to this bomb, so it can't connect. We need a separation wall here. Now this is gray. And of course we can have no more walls. Because we must have 2 walls in each of these columns. We can have no more than 2 walls. There just aren't enough walls to go around. Now we see we need to separate these bombs or block them from hitting each other. So this has to be a wall, and that means no more walls in this column. We need to block this bomb from the bunnies. Now this is gray, and we see this bomb is connected to this crystal and can't connect here. Now this is gray. Also, this bomb is connected to this crystal, so we need separation here. This is gray. We need a wall here. Now this row's gray. And we see we need a wall to block this bomb here. And we need to block this bomb here. This bomb can't be walled in, so this is not a wall. Level 133. Okay, so we need to block these bombs from the crystal. And we need to block these from the crystal. So there has to be 1 wall in one of these 2 spaces and 1 in one of these 2 spaces. So these are not walls. That lets us fill in this column with walls and this one. Now, each bomb hits only 1 bunny. And each bunny is hit by 1 bomb. And let's see, this one has to hit either this one or this one. That means this has to be a wall, and either these 2, well, actually, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. So either these 2 are walls, and this one, or these 2 are walls. And notice that these 2 columns can only have 1 wall. And at the same time, these bombs need to be blocked off from the crystal. So if these are walls, then this is not a wall, and this has to be a wall. That means to not isolate the crystal, this has to be empty, and this needs to be a wall. Right? So you either have this situation or you have the mirror of that, which means that these walls are going to be in one of these 4 places, or in 2 of these 4 places, either like this or like this, which means the rest of these 2 columns have to be empty. And now we see we can fill in these rows here, which have 5 walls. And then we see this bomb cannot be isolated, so it has to have a path here, which means it hits this bunny, which can't be hit by this bomb. And now we see the bombs and bunnies form a circle, right? Either clockwise or counterclockwise. And we see now this is gray. And we know one of these have to be a wall. With one wall left in this row, this cannot be a wall. That lets us fill in this column with walls. So let's see here. Things go this way. We see that this bomb is going to hit either that or that bunny. And this one is going to be opposite. So if this one hits this one is going to hit this one, right? That tells me that either this or this is going to be a wall. There's only one wall left here, which means these are not walls. And it's the same here and here. One of these must be a wall, and here, and here, and also here. And now, only one of these two can be a wall, right? Either this one or this one. Because if there's a wall here, then this one hits this one hits this one hits this one, and this one hits this one, which means there can't be a wall here and here simultaneously. Now let's fill in this row, which is gray, with empty space. And now we see there are 2 walls left. That means this has to be a wall, since these two cannot be walls simultaneously. And now we see the crystal needs a path here, and it needs to be blocked off from this bomb. That grays out this row. And now we see, well, what do we see? This is gray. And this row has 2 more walls, which have to be on this side. Because if it's on this side, then this bomb is not going to hit anything. So the walls have to be here. That means this bomb hits this one, and we have to go all the way around. And the final space is empty. Level 134. We can start out by determining that this cannot be a wall, because, of course, this needs a path up somewhere. And let's see, if this is a wall, this is grayed out, so this cannot be a wall. That means these are walls. In other words, this can't be a wall. And like I said, this needs a path up somewhere. So if this is not a wall, then it needs this or this to be empty. That means these have to be walls. And also, these have to be walls, because if any of these are empty, then you get isolated empty spaces, which is bad. So this could, well, this might be actually. No, that might not be. This is isolated, etc. So either this is a wall or it is empty. If it is empty, the rest are walls. And yeah. So these have to be walls. Now let's look at this here. This is going to hit either this one or this one. Now, if it hits, let's hypothesize. What if it hits this bunny? And this bunny has to be hit by this one. And these are all walls. Then, and of course, We need a path for this empty space. There can't be a wall here. Now this bunny has to be hit by this bomb. But what happens then is we have to fill in walls in this row. And now the crystal is isolated. And this happened because we tried to see if this bomb could hit this bunny. So our conclusion is this bomb cannot hit this bunny. Let's revert our actions. So in other words, this bomb has to hit this bunny instead. And now this bunny can only be hit by this bomb. That means we can fill in, let's see here. No, not this one just yet, but we have to fill in this row with walls. And now we see this bunny has to be hit by this bomb. And now one of these two spaces, well, this space is empty. And yeah, these two columns are gray. So now we see there are 5 walls in this row. And that means this bomb cannot hit this bunny. Also, now we can fill in these rows here with walls, making this gray. So yeah, that lets us fill in this row. And as you see, this bomb does not hit this bunny, which has to be hit by this bomb. And now we can fill in this column with walls. Let's see, this row needs to have 5 walls. This cannot be a wall. There needs to be a path. So now we can fill in this row. There needs to be a path for the crystal here, and also a path here to connect so we don't have separate zones. And now we see this row has 2 walls in it, which have to be here. Now, there needs to be a path either up or down from here. That means this has to be a wall, and one of these two has to be a wall. And now this row has 5 more walls to place. At least 2 of them will be here. That means there cannot be a path, because only one of these could potentially be an empty space. That means there needs to be a path on this side. And now we see we have to have a wall here. And of course in this column. Now this can't be a wall, so it has to be empty. And this instead has to be a wall. Now we can fill in this column. This row has 2 more walls. Now this is gray, this is gray, and there's 1 space left, which we see has to be a wall.